All right, so finally got a few days of kind of vacation, I guess you call it. Probably gonna pick up around February, March, as soon as the weather kind of breaks, tax time, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just kind of enjoying my time being at home right now. As you can see behind me, we're trying to get the drive coming into the shop because it gets real wet right in here. And I don't want my truck and stuff to be sinking down, all that kind of stuff. The main concern that I had consistently got from the kennels is two main things. One was the flooring and the doors. Those are the two main things I have issues with. And when I go back to people's houses and see kennels or whatever, it's the two things that bother me the most. Now the doors, I've already started by putting a support brace in there and revamping the doors in terms of putting heavier screws for the latches. It's some other little things in there that I did to kind of give the doors a little more stability. So I feel confident about the doors. But now the other thing I was having an issue with was the flooring. We will have these available too. I'm working on the catalog and brochure. We're gonna get all this stuff together so y'all can pick and choose the flooring y'all want. You know, just kind of giving y'all a heads up. If anybody on here is looking to get a kennel built, hopefully you'll see this and you can see the new options. Today, I'm gonna go through the building of the new decks with y'all, and I'm working on my setup back here. I'm probably gonna talk y'all through the video instead of just playing music through a time lapse. I'm just gonna talk through it. I'm just real thankful and appreciative for everybody that's helping me through this journey. All right, so as usual, I started with a few of my cuts. Right here, I just started with the basic cuts that I do for all my decks. I had to work on a lot of measurements because I'm trying to find the best way to position these decks and still have them as functional and all that without wasting material and all that. So I had to keep going back to the drawing board. Here, I think is the next day I had started, and that's when I decided to do the 3 pallets on there. Came up with my little design, you know, a lot of back and forth because I had to make sure cuts and stuff are right. And then, you know, I like to make sure I document all my data because I don't like to have to keep going back and retrying stuff. So in this one, it's you're gonna see me writing down a lot of stuff, going back and forth because I gotta consistently try stuff, move stuff around. Now, if you watch this second pallet I put in there, you see I kind of had to get it positioned just right. That's the only thing about this design that I didn't like is it's not necessarily dummy proof. And that's what I'm gonna be working on as I move forward, is making sure that it is dummy proof for pretty much anybody to get under there and clean them. So right here, you're gonna see me jumping up and down. I do this, everything I build, I want it to be as durable as possible. So I'm making sure right now that none of the flooring is shifting, that the legs are stable. I mean, I'm about 210 pounds, and I feel like if I can jump up and down on this thing, then, you know, the average person can get in there and clean, as well as the average dog should have no problem walking around. I'm stomping, I'm trying to see if any pieces are loose or whatever. Just trying to put it through a little test just to make sure, you know, before I test my dogs out on them. Okay, so this was the next day. This was deck number 2. I pretty much knew what I needed to do as far as measurements, but my first deck was off slightly, so I made some modifications to it, wrote down those modifications, and then the next day I implemented those new measurements. Even with the new measurements, what I ended up finding out is that my pallets were actually different sizes. All right, so it's Tuesday, 2:30 a.m. I'm out here, it's cold. I think it was, when I came out here, it was like 43 degrees. I've been warming it up a little bit, so it's 51 right now, it's still cold. But, so I'm working on my own setup. I wanted to show y'all kind of what I'm thinking. I want to tell y'all my process, my thought process when I'm coming up with these decks. All right, so this was my second set of decks. I had the first two out there. This is my second two. Now, if you see, I'm able to do two at a time, which is, you know, what I like to do. I don't like to build nothing just that only individual. If I can build two or three at a time, it saves me a lot of time. Now, if you see, I'm actually slightly perfectionist, and you see how I kind of keep everything in order as I'm going through it, and that's just because my memory's so bad and all that. I gotta keep everything kind of structured, you know, and go through it just piece by piece like this. So right now is I'm putting all my supports in for the center of my pallets, and I already, you know, did my top spacing and all that kind of stuff. You can see my ramps off to the left-hand corner. I made those. I was just kind of messing around with some stuff, so I don't think I got any video of that. And we're done. So now, like I said, if you can see on the clock, I think it's like 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's one of the beauties of living out in the country, though, that I could just get up, you know, whenever and go work. All right, so today I guess that was last night, I got the second deck built. I ended up making some ramps, some other stuff. It's coming along real well. Tomorrow, I should be done with the decks, and then tomorrow I can take y'all back there, let y'all see what I came up with. Don't have roofs for them yet. I'm still working out what I want to do, but I think I got a pretty good design for the roofs. And yeah, so this is, I guess this is like day 5, day 3. I don't remember of working on these, but we're about to finally have them livable, if that makes sense. So I had to attach all my decks. I had made sure they were level. Had to attach all of them, and then I had to do a little bit of adjustment on the support braces underneath. So that's where you see me kind of making an adjustment, and I'm going back to write down the little adjustments that I made or whatever, so I could come back and finish it up. All right, so I believe it's day 5. Got everything pretty much staged how I wanted. I got all my decks done, got all my ramps done and mounted. I got to mount my automatic feeders. I got water dishes in all of them. The next thing will be securing all of these panels. and finding some sort of roof. So out of all the kennels I've built, I just kind of combined all the pluses that I found, and anything that I found that was an issue, I tried to go ahead and fix it. So I'll go into detail later, but I'll tell you the main things that I was having trouble with that I wanted to fix was the kennels themselves not being as secure as they need to be on the deck. So I had to figure out something with that. I'm still working on that. The next thing was the flooring. I wanted to find a flooring that was a lot more comfortable for the dog's feet. The other thing was cleaning underneath. This time I went with an 8-inch foot instead of a 6-inch, and I think it's gonna give me a lot more space to clean underneath. And that's why I went with the ramps also. So at one point in time, somebody was saying that the kennels were too high. Then I had somebody saying they're too low. So I just forget it. I built these the way I want to build. I got pocket bullies. The ramps are good. I've seen a couple dogs go in and out. My puppies especially, they like to play on it. See, other than that, the next things after I said the roof, keeping them warm and cool. So right now I'm trying to work on some type of setup that is removable and can be an addition. So when people want to order that, I can say, hey, here's the whole package. You can get the heating, the cooling, the kennel, the ramp, everything. Boom. So I still like my 4 bays. I still like my wood kennels, but I wanted to get to something. The wood kennels are great. They look great. I've modified the design enough to where I feel like they're very stable long term, but based off of the feedback on YouTube and Instagram, all that kind of stuff, this design with the decks and the retriever kennels was the most highly sought after. So that's why I went ahead and went with this. We're gonna see how it fares. I got it fairly level. It was off by a minor amount, but the ground back here kind of is soft around this time of year. So I'm just gonna leave it how it is because I don't want to get it perfect and then come out here tomorrow and it be sunk down. So I'm just leaving it how it is, and I'll modify as I go. I got blocks under it, so it's gonna have a little bit better support, but still. Other than that, and I'm just gonna keep on going along, keep on trying to see what I can modify to make this setup better. I'll let y'all know what I do.
Banger, turn it up.